We on? We're good? I can speak for a while too. Get your recorders. Get your recorders. Okay, I think the stream's going. Everybody's on. We're good. Balance and everything. All right, perfect. We'll get this started. Don't need to hear from me. At this time, I'd like to introduce the president of the University of New Mexico to get things started, Dr. Robert Frank.
Well, good afternoon. It's a real pleasure to be here, and I'm glad they put the basketball here. As you know, since I was a swimmer, I wouldn't have known what I was supposed to do here today. It's my pleasure to be here. You know, the University of New Mexico does a lot of important things for New Mexico. We educate students, we provide health care, we really serve the city of Albuquerque, in fact, the entire state in many, many important ways. Athletics is the front porch of the university, as we've said, front porch of the university and the front porch of the state in many ways. We're very proud of all of our athletics programs. Every year, the NCAA requires that I meet with our athletes and talk to them about the responsibilities of being a student athletes and the importance of their role as student athletes. And I always remind them that whether they're on the athletic field or just walking around on our campus, there's a little special importance of what they do, and people look at them differently. And of course, our basketball program is one that has huge traditions for us. So we look at our basketball players as really important people on our campus, and both of our programs, the women's program and the men's program, we have huge expectations for. So today is a really important program, a really important day for our program as we turn the page in a new chapter of women's basketball here at the University of New Mexico. And I'm very pleased to introduce our athletic director, Paul Krebs, to make a very important announcement for us. So thank you.
Thank you, President Frank. I want to start off by acknowledging President Frank and David Harris. Both were kind enough in a very busy week for them and the university, and I think speaks to how important they think our athletic program is, in particular our women's basketball program, that they took time out to meet the candidates that we had on campus this last week. I also really want to recognize Janice and Ed, Janice Ruggiero and Ed Manzanares. Ed is hiding in the back, Janice is up here in the front, but they were involved in every facet of this process and probably spoke to many more people throughout the last 2 weeks, certainly than I did, and were incredibly involved. And again, I want to recognize, I don't think people in Albuquerque understand Janice's role with the Women's Basketball Issues Committee at the NCAA and the influence and the respect in which she's held around the country. And because of that, she was able to really dig in and get access to a lot of information to a lot of very critical people. So I really want to recognize her for that. It's hard to believe, but I think it was 2 weeks ago tomorrow that we let Coach Sanchez go. And at that time, I talked about what I thought was the reasonable expectations for our women's basketball program, which was to be nationally relevant, to be, if not the dominant, a dominant player in the Mountain West, consistently participating in NCAA tournaments, in the WNIT tournament. And one of my takeaways from these past 2 weeks is our view of our program matches consistently with what we heard nationally. I think people respect our fan base. They know of this building. They know the great history with this program. And as a result, there was a lot of excitement and a lot of interest in the position. All the coaches that we talked to reaffirmed what I just said. As we looked for a head coach, we were looking for somebody that had head coaching experience, a track record, really a proven track record of success. Obviously a combination, or knowing the ability to coach, the X and O's, but beyond that, leadership skills, management skills, the ability to relate to our student athletes, to value education, and really to develop the young women that are in our program. Our goal was to hire somebody before the Final Four, but it was not a race. Had we not been here today, we would have obviously worked at it till it was done, but I don't want anybody to believe that we rushed into anything. It was a very intensive, almost 2-week process with a lot of phone calls. But at the end of the day, and speaking of phone calls, whether it was to WNBA coaches, whether it was to current Division I coaches, former coaches. In the case of Mike, actually called some of his former student athletes, ADs, you name it, calls to anybody and everybody within the world of women's collegiate basketball to make sure that we were vetting candidates, that we were making the right decisions and gathering all the information we possibly could. We had multiple interviews with a diverse pool of candidates. In the end, it was the unanimous thought process from everybody involved that Mike Bradbury was the right fit at the right time for the University of New Mexico. I was struck by a combination of Mike's intensity, his passion for the game, certainly his style of play I found to be intriguing, but his leadership skill, his recruiting skill, all those things weighed heavily into our decision making. A little bit of background, I think many of you probably have the press release. Mike's been a head coach for 9 years, 6 years at Moorhead, 6 years at Wright State, 3 years at Moorhead. I won't read all the statistics, but I would like to read a few of them. 75 and 25 in his last 3 years at Wright State, 1 NCAA appearance, 2 WNIT appearances, postseason in 5 of his 6 years at Wright State, won 20 games in 5 of his 6 years at Wright State, set a record for single season wins, a record for career wins, best winning percentage, 3 players of the year, and a coach of the year. And to me, those numbers are impressive. But what really, if you dig a little deeper, I think what's even more impressive is both at Wright State and Morehead State, not to diminish those schools, but those are very difficult places to win. They're schools that are probably some of the have-nots in their conference. And more important than the numbers, if you look at what has happened either before Mike was at that school or after he left a particular school, I think what he's done is even more impressive. Wright State had one 20-win season in the 22 years prior to his arrival. They'd never been to Division I postseason play prior to his arrival. And as I said earlier, 5 of 6 years in postseason play. In addition to those head coaching jobs at those 2 schools, Mike was an assistant at both Xavier and Cincinnati and really led a number, I think 3 or 4 top 25 recruiting classes at those institutions. As Frank put in the notes, a piece of trivia, Mike is the 3rd head coach to have graduated from the 3rd head coach at the University of New Mexico, who graduated from Tennessee Chattanooga. Kathy Kalankowitz, our former women's tennis coach, and Jolie Dunn, former football coach, were also UT Chattanooga grads. So I am very proud. You like that, do you? Very proud to introduce the 6th head coach in the history of our illustrious women's basketball program, Coach Mike Bradbury.
Thank you, and thanks for everybody being here. I am excited to be the head coach at New Mexico and to be a part of the Lobo family, the Albuquerque community. When you look at this place from afar, it is something that most of the coaches in the country are envious of, and that's what really intrigued me to want to be a part of it. Before I go any further, some people I need to thank. Paul Krebs, from early on in our conversations, we shared the same vision and the same things that we thought that this program could do, and that was tremendous. Janice has been unbelievable for the last week to 10 days with me, and it's you can tell how much she cares about what goes on here. Dr. Frank, who it's when you're a women's basketball coach, very rarely do you get to spend any time with the president at places, now I know, other than New Mexico. So unbelievable. Also, I'd like to thank someone I've been friends with and friendly with for a long time, Yvonne Sanchez, for her hard work in the Lobo basketball tradition over her 16 years at this place, and I know she put a lot into it, and it's definitely been recognized, and I've known her for a long time, and wish her the best, and hope to talk to her soon. Most importantly, I want to thank my family. I couldn't do this profession without my wife and the support of my kids and my family. I'm not going to spend a whole lot more talking about that. I'm about to get in trouble. Also would like to thank Bob Grant, my AD at Wright State, Brian Hutchinson, my athletic director at Morehead State, Kurt Miller, a friend of mine coaching the WNBA, for everything that they've done, especially in the last few weeks. So I think I got most of that covered. Okay, what I'm here for and what we're supposed to do. I'm going to tell you a little bit how we're going to get going with this program. And I just met with the team. Just got out with them. We met for quite a while. It was very good, very refreshing, and I can't wait to get started. We'll show up every day. Our team, coaches. with great enthusiasm and energy. And I think that's what we need, and that's what we're going to do. And no matter what we're doing, whether it's practice, game, in the community, whatever we're doing, we'll have great enthusiasm and energy and I guess support of women's basketball at New Mexico. The most important thing for me in the short term is to get to know and be with our team, our current players, as much as possible. There's nobody more important in this program than our current players. Those kids chose to come here and are going to be here because this is a great place. And I've got to get to know them. They've got to get to know me. I think we got off to a good start earlier today, and we'll continue that process over the next couple of weeks. And I'll kind of be coming and going, but going to try and be here as much as possible. After that, we'll establish what we'll do, what our team will do. In the short run, we got to get out there and get working out again and get moving. In the long run, we'll establish our style of play, what we're going to do, how we're going to go about it. And they already have been very receptive to kind of how we're trying to do things. Lastly, this place is very unique, and I've never been to a place like this, and I know I've only been here for a couple days, but I've never seen this, and it's great, and it's exciting, and we have a very large fan base of the best fans in the country, and I can just tell that by what I see when I see them on TV, and I've seen them in the past and seen that run through the 2000s. That was unbelievable. Our goal has to be to make the Pit the toughest place to play in the Mountain West, and I don't think that should be difficult to do. Is what I would say is we need the fans and the 5,000 and 6,000 that come to the women's games every night, just to bring a friend, bring a cousin, bring somebody, and get out there so we can get it up to 10,000. I'll promise you this: we'll play a style that's very entertaining, and hopefully that will get more people out, and most importantly, get us the success that we need. And we need you guys to make that happen. Once again, I'm excited to be here, and I promise you this: no one's going to work harder to get this place to where you guys want it to be. Thank you.
All right, at this time, I'm going to invite Mike and go and sit down at his spot. We have Gene has a microphone, so he'll go around kind of like Phil Donahue, for those of you that are old as I am, and he will hand the microphone. For Mike's sake, since he's brand new here, obviously if you can give your name and affiliation, that would help him out, and just kind of get my eye, and I'll direct Gene on where to go. Will is right up front, and Ken, does anyone have a question in this front group right here? Since that's where Gene is. We'll start Will, then we'll go to Ken.
Paul, this is actually for you. Will Weber from the Santa Fe News. It's not on. Paul, this is for you.
For me?
Yeah. What specifically set him apart? I mean, were you looking for a particular style of coach, a brand that he brings to the table, or was it just his personality that sold you?
I think first and foremost, Will, Janice and Ed and I talked and identified a number of criteria that we thought was most important. In my mind, there are a couple of things that we were really focused on, and Mike fit that bill. One, to me, the best, like the old stock tip, the best indicator of future performance is past performance. I think a proven track record of a head coach, to me, was really going to be a significant part of what we were looking for. as many of you know, I have some background in Ohio, and I know that Wright State is a hard place to win. And when you look at Horizon Conference and you look at Wisconsin, Green Bay, and the dominance that they've had, and the fact that Mike built a program that was competing year in and year out with Wisconsin, Green Bay, who is an outstanding program. I think his ability to build a program, the style of play, you know, it's nice. I think it'll be exciting. I think our fans are going to like it. But to me, that was not a driving factor. It was a combination of leadership skills, proven record, and recruiting acumen. And I think among many of his attributes, I think there's a lot of folks that think that he is one of the best recruiters in women's basketball. So to me, all those factors played into it. I would also say that it was evident from day one he really wanted this job, and he made that incredibly clear from the first time I spoke to him.
Ken Sickinger, Albuquerque Journal. Coach Bradbury, I just, first one will be real easy. It's not in your bio anywhere. Where are you from, and what's your age?
Well, I was born in Kentucky, and I was there till I was 5. And then I grew up in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and that's where I went to high school and college. .46.
Okay. And the other one is just basically, you've never had a lot of dealings with the Mountain West. How familiar are you with it as a league?
Just from what I see, you know, basketball coaches have to keep up kind of nationwide. You know, we know who's good and you know, who's in the middle and who's at the bottom. You know, we see games on TV too. So, you know, we're familiar enough.
Coach in the back here. JP Murrieta, KOB TV. I'm with the NBC affiliate here in town. Have you made any decisions on staff, and are any of the current staff staying, or are you keeping any of them on?
Yeah, I've got some. It's going to take a couple of weeks just based on how it works and stuff to get through some paperwork and stuff to get people out here. But we've got a good list, and we know all but one. But that's about all I can say about it now until we get going a little further.
Staff or no?
Yeah, and I've talked with Amy, and it was when we left that discussion. It is a real possibility. We just have to kind of see how it goes, and some of that has to do with what's going on at Wright State. You know, who's going to get that job, that kind of stuff. So, you know, it's just unfortunately it's going to take a couple weeks.
Coach, Orlando Sanchez, KOAT TV here in Albuquerque. Wondering if you can elaborate on what your style of play will be.
Yeah, I just in simplest form, we're gonna play fast, and the only way I can tell you is we lead our league in scoring, regardless if it was Morehead State or Wright State. We're just going to play fast, and it helps in recruiting. It's a fun way to play. We run the dribble drive offense, and you know, we've been doing that for several years now, and a lot of the people that I talk to and deal with and are friends or close in my little group, we all do that, and all 4 of us were in the top 10 in scoring this year, so and it's kind of what we do.
And kind of a second question, what's your history here at New Mexico? What do you know about this place? How much time have you spent here?
3 days. I'm being educated on green and red chili. I like the is what made me a big fan is just what I know about basketball, and you know, the fan support, the support from administration, and just the tradition. I mean, you know, you saw what Coach Flanagan did, and you know, that run, and that was good, and I just, you know, I think that this place should be at that level and will be at that level, you know, and you should be able to do that consistently with the resources and the facilities that you have.
Hi, Jared Chester, CBS affiliate out here in Albuquerque. Can you just kind of elaborate on your recruiting talents? Obviously, you could tap into the Midwest. Can you just go in a little bit on that?
Yeah, we work at it and we try and identify them, and the biggest thing we've been able to do is to take care of our region with a high rate of success in doing that. We'll go wherever we got to go to get players, but we really need to make sure that we can take care of the Southwest, and that's a bigger region than normal for me. But all the surrounding states, we got to make sure that we do well in those.
JP again, kind of along the recruiting line, a two-part question. Have you talked to any of the incoming recruits, people who had committed here? And when you met with the current crop of players, what was kind of your message to them today?
I have not talked to anybody of the incoming players. We'll do that soon. Amy and I discussed all of that, when we met, and she really feels like everything's under control, and she's handling that and doing a great job. The message with the team was we spent a lot of it just getting to know each other and asking questions. And I just kind of explained how we would like to play. Can we do that right away? Will be based on our personnel. And that was kind of the only message. We're going to play the best players, and that's who's going to play the most. So, if you want to play, make sure you're one of those. And that's it. It was really simple.
Okay. Fred Hochberg, 1017 FM, the team. I'm talking about recruits again now. We have the recruits that you haven't talked to, but then we also have kids that were sophomores and juniors that they've been working on. Do you just start all over now, or do you go and look at the recruits that we've already had coming here? How do you go about doing that?
Well, we'll definitely go off the ones they've already been recruiting. And also we'll find more, but I've talked to some of the coaches. I don't know how much compliance-wise I'm allowed to say here, but
I'll kick you if you go too far.
yeah, okay. We've been in contact. How about that? So
Okay.
if we know who they are, and we're already working on that.
And also the scheduling. I know that Coach Sanchez has played some really good schools, a lot of top 25 schools, 2 or 3 almost every year. Is that what you'd like to do too, bring them here hopefully and play a really good schedule?
Sure. I want to win, and we need to play the best people we can play, to win. And I like playing those. We just got to make sure that the schedule is on par with our team and our philosophy of what's going on at that time.
Anybody else? All right, Coach will be here, so you guys need to grab him one-on-one. He's here. Paul is also here, and Janice is in the front. Thanks to everyone on the internet who follow along, and thanks for coming out. We appreciate it.
Frank, where do you want?
I think they'll probably come in here.
Love your attitude.
So much.
They'll probably come up here and maybe grab you guys. So just kind of, you can mingle around here, or you can come out in front, and sorry, I don't want to be trapped behind here.
Yeah.
You can put your other coat back on, too.
I don't care.
All right, then we got it.
All right.
Just keep this here so you've got it. That's your official hanger.
Oh, God, yeah.
Rushing to Mexico.
Put a
Hey,
little marker on it so I don't put something else on.
We go all out here. And,
Steve, Kathy, we haven't missed a home